प्रेम से उमापति महादेव की जय. We briefly focus our minds upon the Divine Lord Krishna. Kalpatari vayasya kripa sindhu evata patitana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Radha Namostute Harir Naam Harir Naam Harir Naam eva kevalam Kalonasteva Nasteva Nasteva Yati Pranyata Sri Krishna Krishnaaya Namo Namah. Prem Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. Last week, our discussions were on a subject relevant to all of us. It's okay, I'm fine. That all of us are challenged from time to time, and we have to learn that when we must be flexible. And we talked about this in relationship, in particular to human relationships. When is it that we must be flexible? And then when must we be firm in our decision? You know, we are told to live in a world of give and take. But there are sometimes you can take so much and you can give so much. And we have to say, I've taken enough or I've given enough. This is the end. But that takes courage. It takes fortitude. It takes understanding, perseverance, patience, and faith in God. And then ultimately, well, all of these, while we are trying to be flexible or firm, we must be fearless. We must have no fear that we are doing something wrong. I think the word fearless is spelled wrong, isn't it? What is the right spelling?
Fear.
Good. Thank you all very much. I just thought I'd point that out to everybody. So I did this, and my swelling was terrible. So, fearless at all times. And that we must not have any, when you are on the righteous pathway, when your intention is good, when you intend not to do harm, when you intend not to deceive, then why should you be afraid? We should be afraid when we intend to do harm or to deceive or to be deceitful or to operate in a state of conceit or arrogance. And these states, we must be afraid because someone will challenge us, and then the weakness of our lie, the weakness of our demands or our demonic tendencies will come out ultimately. So we want to continue on this thought, and I want to talk about something that's real, that's happening in Canada. Now let me give you a scenario. I must tell you, this happened to me. And I was told this morning by one of our seniors that it happened to them, and sadly they were victimized for $1,000. Now, if you get a phone call, and on the other side of the phone someone says, I'm calling from Canada Revenue, CRA, Canada Revenue Agency, and I'm calling to inform you that we will be sending police over at your door within the next 2 hours. You will be arrested for violation of tax laws, that you didn't pay taxes that you owe. What would you do? How would you respond to that? Anybody? Hold that thought, Natarajan. Yes. How would you respond to that? General public. By the way, it could happen to any one of you. Let's see how you respond to this.
Wait for the police.
Who will want to speak? Go.
I will wait for the police.
Speak up.
Wait for the police.
You'll wait for the police? So what you tell them, goodbye, I'll wait for police? Good. All right, but then they insisted, listen, you have one opportunity to do this, and the warrant is out for your arrest, and they've sent them, but we have an opportunity to stop that if you would answer a couple of questions to me and discuss this further. What would you do then?
I would ask them for their names and get their details.
Okay, so you want my name? My name is James, and here's my phone number. You can call me right back. Okay, but I just answered you. I gave you a phone number and a name. Call me back to confirm this.
I would call the CRA to verify if that person is actually calling from the CRA.
Okay, but okay, how would you call CRA?
We would get a toll-free number for them to contact them and to verify if that person is working for the CRA.
Yeah, but the person on the other line says, listen, I am CRA, here's my number, you call me back.
No, you wouldn't call that number
I'm
back.
asking you now. You see, it's nice to analyze that. On the point of time, they have threatened you with that they have the bail leaf at your door and the man is going to arrest you. And here is a number, call me back to confirm this so you can talk. What would you do? You would try to call CRA, right? Okay? You would hang up. You did, huh? Mm-hmm. How many of you had the same phone call? 1, 2, 3, 4. I did too. Okay, let's pause for a minute. Do you know how many people actually get victimized by this? Because the 3 departments, when we get called, that every human being in this country is actually afraid of, is Customs Department. By the way, if a customs officer called you and tell you they're coming over, you should be afraid. If the immigration says they're coming over, you'll be afraid. And Canada Revenue Agencies, they are the most dangerous of all. There's no way you can run from them. And these people who are the fraudsters, they capitalize on that natural fear that we all have of these agencies. Because it doesn't matter how much you paid your taxes, CRA can come back and review for 5 years and still find a problem with you. And they have the ability to go back 5 years. They have the ability to get legal documents to come to your home. Yes. Canada Customs, on the other hand, I think have more authority. Okay? They can come to your home, and if you have gone to the USA and bought property over the last 5 years, and you cannot produce the receipts at the time they come to your home that you bought it, at that time, you could be under suspect for not paying tax, paying the duties on it. This is the reality. But the realities are, as I pointed out, we have to learn how to cope with life and to understand to use, what is that?
Common sense.
Good. And I hear some good common sense situations explained here in the normal conditions. But you know, in the abnormal conditions, some of us lose our common sense. When we get into the accident, we forget what to do. When we get the phone call, we forget what to do. And it doesn't matter how intelligent we are, we forget what to do. The first thing is, if you did nothing wrong, do not be afraid, like the lady said. Innocently, I know I didn't do anything wrong, so why should I be afraid? And I want to tell you what happened to me. This is me, Pandit Sharma. I'm a very, I think, very smart person, intelligent. I had this, my wife got this call at home, and they told her that who they are. And of course, poor lady got very afraid and called me right away at the mandir I was here. And look, the CRA just called for you, and it's very important. Just call them back right away. Here's the number and the name of the person. Well, I called, and the person answered the phone to the name and identified here. Well, Mr. Sharma, you will be, you're under notice of arrest. You will be, people are coming to your home to arrest you for taxes you didn't pay. Well, I'm giggling in my background because I know the relationship I have with the tax department. I used to fight them quite often. And I know I paid my taxes on time and everything is up to date. And I says, really? And then he says, well, I want you to know, you might have paid your taxes, but there are delinquencies that are outstanding that you ignore to respond to. We send you 3 letters. Now I'm saying, hold on a minute. I have a tendency not to open all letters from time to time. So I'm wondering now, did I miss one letter? And if you missed 1 letter, 2 letter, 3, then they have some. So I said, I don't know, I don't think so. Well, you did get letters and we know that, and that's why we're coming after you now, because you did not respond. So now the argument is beginning to take foundation in my... So I said, can I call you back? Give me his number. Call me back. He said, when you call back, ask for this number because somebody else might be answering the phone. Ask for another name. These guys are very organized. So I called Sumi home. I said, did we get any letter from CRA that we didn't respond to? She did a quick, no, I receive all the mail, and she's a good person. She opens all mail and makes sure I get all of it. She doesn't mess with that stuff, especially CRA, right? No. So I tell her, she says, this sounds, you sure you paid everything? You better call the accountant, okay? So I called the accountant. He wasn't ready to answer the phone. I said, okay. So I left a message for the accountant. Listen, you know, we got the CRA people. I don't know what you did. You do something wrong? So I called this number back, and lo and behold, the other person answered. Yeah, plan is working good. Yes, by the way, we are prepared to resolve this with you if within the next 3 hours you can come up with a certain amount of funds. I said, oh, how much? $1,830 something and 27 cents. So I said, that's actually small. I said, I'm thinking like I owed a CRA like $10,000, $15,000 because I usually pay them about that much every year. No, she says, no, he said, no, I said, that's a pretty small amount for drastic measures. And I said, well, how are you going to settle this? Well, if you're prepared, we can do this, but then hold on a minute, I'll get our supervisor to talk to you. Isn't this good? Right, good. Right, so, hold on a second. Supervisor, call. Mr. Sharma, we want to check that you have not deceived the CRA in the past. Have you had any violations in the past? Now I'm thinking, oh my God, when did I do something wrong? Right, you know? No, I don't have any violations. Let me check that. We are going to check, pull your file up. I said, well, since you're calling me, what is my social insurance number? We don't need to have that, sir. We have the notice from the collection department from CRA. Oh, now I'm starting to. And then I said, well, if I'm to settle this in a couple of hours, how could I do this? By the way, we have frozen your bank account, they tell me. So you cannot go to your bank right now. But however, if you want to settle this, and you can turn up for the money in cash. Now I'm that stupid, right? And then here's the next part. Meet me at the Home Depot. Now that's the truth. I want you to know, as much as you're laughing, somebody in this mandir right now did exactly that. Because when fear is in our minds, and we are foreigners to this country, and we don't understand the protocols, yes, we become easily victimized. So as much as we are laughing about you today, remember, it's possible to happen to you and I. So, What should we do? If you did nothing wrong, do not be afraid. Secondly, ask advice when in doubt. You don't know? Oh, by the way, he told me, I hope you have a good lawyer, you can call them now. I have 3 lawyers I could have called right away, and all of them answer. One of them is here today. So we'll give him a shot at this. So ask advice when in doubt. Talk to somebody else. Don't jump to conclusions. Ask people, and fine. Never believe that the government will hold you by the throat just like that. They will hold you by the throat, but not just like that. They have a long process to take you there. Okay? And in any government agency, when you are fined and given a charge, you get a document from the government saying that you are paying this fine. You have the right to question it. You have the right to respond in writing, and for them to do that. I've done that many times with the tax department, and I've been able to reverse their decisions because I pointed out to them where they misunderstood what was reported and what was. So the fact is, you always have a recourse process. Never be afraid that the government is going to hang you up by your neck just like that. Do not become a victim of fear. Ask advice when in doubt and have trust, but do not be afraid to ask questions. Trust anybody, but ask them questions when you're in doubt. And if they can't answer them, then you know that you should not trust or not. When I went through that process, I must tell you, for the first 15 minutes of this dialogue, I was afraid. I thought, honestly, I did something wrong because I dealt with the tax department so often, many times, different things, and back and forth, but I've always responded, always got clarity. And then recently, in my involvement, I'm the president of 6 charity organizations, 6 charities. And out of the 6 of them, 4 of them were audited by CRA last month. 4 at the same time. Now, I thought I was definitely going to go to jail. Well, fortunately, they audited all of them and found nothing with any one of them. We got a clean bill on 4 charity status, including Ram Mandir, including CHHC. You all should give us a big hand for that. So having been involved with the government so often, and I myself, as a management consultant working for Deloitte and PricewaterhouseCoopers, work with the tax department on many issues and understand how they operate. And these people who are doing this understand how the government operates also. And they use that, and they use the simple fear of new immigrants to overcome you. And as I said, one of our members was victimized. And so many were called. And by the way, the police is aware of this. When we enter on the internet and check the phone number out, there's a whole feedback on that number about how many times people got the same number they're using. It's on the internet, it's posted on Facebook and everything, and yet people are being victimized. And the police department knows about it. And they're saying it's originating somewhere in the States. And by the way, here's the ploy. You go to Home Depot, you go, and when you go, they ask you to purchase a Home Depot card for the money, whatever you're going to pay them. And then they ask you to call them and tell them you've done this, and they ask you for the number of the card. And when you give them the number of the card, within 5 minutes, the card is empty. Wow. Now, Home Depot should have some way of stopping that, don't know, but that's how it works. And it sounds so, but it works. They've got it. And they are asking for $1,800, $1,500, $1,000, small amounts, but small amounts by my standards, maybe from paying taxes, but for many people that's as much taxes as they pay. So anyone can become a victim of this. This morning's sermon is something, Hinduism is a way of life. And what we do in our day-to-day lives is also part of who we are. So I caution you. And by the way, especially our smart, very intelligent young people, the ones who knows everything. You could get these calls also. And they could tell you that your parent are in trouble and they have arrested them, blah, blah, blah. And you could become easily victimized. Now, we have had 3 types of this. Yes, Natarajan?
I have a situation.
Yes, which one is that?
It's 2 years ago. It was not a fake. It was a notice from CRA at my doorstep. And that it said the previous person who sold the house for me, and his name was there, and they said that they are going to, he owes some money. So I didn't get, I got a little bit shocked, but I called the CRA and they said that so you can check the status of the house because it is transferred by this person, and I don't owe any money to the CRA. That's what I made it very clear. She said, no problem, we will make a title search and we will come from a conclusion. And one more situation I want to tell. This is also 2 years before. These actual police officers came and knocked on my door. I was not home. Srija was there. They said that your husband has a massive stroke and he is in the emergency right now. He got accident in Toronto. This is because the person who bought the house, his license, he didn't change the address. And Srija asked them, show your ID, and then they didn't believe. And she called me over here, and I'd answered from the Mandir phone and told I'm okay. And they said that, they went and searched inside the home. So this can happen to anybody, and it is all truth.
Thank you, Natraj, for sharing. Now, is there anybody else who wants to share something that happened like this? Yes. Give him a microphone, please.
Somebody called me. He says, are you Mr. Patel? I say, yes, I'm Mr. Patel. I'm sorry, yeah. I'm Mr. Patel. And okay, so we are from this department. I said, oh, then she asked me already. He said, do you have bank account here? I said, do I have some bank account? But what to do with a bank account? He said, don't ask me question. I must just give me the answer. So I'm not going to say anything. He seems to like a bloody, he's a fraud, you know. So he said, don't say that, you know. Behave yourself. I said, no, I just put the phone down. And she called me again. I said, okay, in this case, you send me the notice officially, and I'm going to deal with these things officially, right? But not on the phone, right? And since you asked me for this bank account, that is a fraud, you know. She called me third time, and then I just said, okay, I said, I'm not going to answer it. Then after about half an hour, I went to the Rogers, and I said, this number, somebody's called me, and these numbers look to be, you know, it's a kind of a fraud. So she says, can you please ring this number? And she called this number, and this number was engaged all the time. Then I talked to my daughters in Markham, and she told me the same thing. Somebody has already given $1,300. One of the Gujarati guy, given $1,300, old guy. And he said, this thing is going on for a long time, right? So he says, you did a good thing that, you know, you asked for official letter. Now since then I got no. And then my daughter told me that this thing is originated from Ahmedabad, Gujarat.
Acha Talia. Now I want to take this opportunity to express our concern for this. Our people, our community are easy targets for people of this scam and fraud, and we must be very cautious. Our scriptures inform us of how we must be in the world, that how we can develop this sense of no fear. And I want to just read one chopai from the Ramcharitmanas that talks about this, and for us to understand that in the world we live in, there are all kinds of people, all kinds of devious, conniving, and untrustworthy people. But we have to continue to live and continue to operate knowing that what we are doing and the country we live in, that there are laws to protect us against these type of people. Prem Tulasitapari Ramachandra Bhagavan Ki Jai. Sant Goswami Tulsidas tells us that we must practice certain philosophies in our lives. We must have certain standards and values that we operate by. And when we have these standards and values that we operate by, it is very difficult for us to become victims of such con artists, because we will know that what we have done and have faith and trust in God, and then seek out the best advice that we can get. But when we are not lived by any value systems, when we are involved in conniving activities ourselves, it is easy for us to become a victim of those who engage in such activities. Oh. Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Sri Ram Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. 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 Jai Guru Rama, Jai Guru Rama, Jai Sita Rama, Jai Sita Rama. Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai 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 Rama. Navam Saral Sabatana Jal Dina. Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama. Navam Saral Sabatana Jal Dina. Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama. Mama Bharosa Hiya Darshan Deena. Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama. Navamahu ekam jinke koi. Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama. Navamahu eko jinke hoi. Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama. Nari Purush Satara koi. Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Rama. 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 Jai Prabhu Rama, Jai Prabhu Rama, Jai Sita Rama, Jai Sita Rama. Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai 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 Rama. In our relationship with God, in our devotion, in service to God through service to humanity, we must enshrine in our lives the principle of never to have an undesigning or ulterior motives in our relationships with each other. One must be simple and undesigning in one's dealing with all, and should in our hearts cherish implicit faith in God. That is, we have no bad intentions, we have no intentions to do wrong, and be convinced in our minds that we did not do wrong. Stand firm and face whatever challenges you face, seeking the best advice available to you, seeking guidance. Have trust, but never be afraid to question in the interest of better life and better living. Prem Sitapati Ramachandra Bhagavan ki jai. Our katha today, our pravachan is so appropriate for the things that are about to happen over the next few weeks in the mandir. We have a symposium coming up at the end of the month. And this planning of the symposium was done since last year. We talked about it. and today a dear friend, a very staunch Hindu, and a very, very active member in the legal society, legal community, a lawyer by profession. So Daman Kisun is here, and I'm going to ask him to take a few minutes to tell us about this symposium which he's involved in organizing, and to invite all of you to come, because there is so much of a need for us to educate ourselves and to expose ourselves to the realities of life and law. Not only our youths, grown adults. So, Damanji, if you can come and take a few minutes. Let's give him a big hand, please.
Panditji, I greet you in the name of Lord Krishna this morning. As I'm sitting there and I'm hearing the stories of CRA, it was only 2 weeks ago a young man and his wife and his sister-in-law came into my office. How many of you have received an email telling you that you have inherited millions of dollars, and as a sign of good faith, you have to send some money to cover the expenses to probate the papers for you to receive the inheritance?
How many of you received that email? I did.
Well, this young man, he works in a mechanic shop. He received the email. He was to receive 13 million pounds because his grandfather lived in Europe some years ago. His grandfather had a similar name. He stupidly went to the bank, took some money out on his line of credit, $25,000, and he sent it off. As it turned out, that was not enough to pay for the paperwork. Lawyers are expensive. You have to send some more money. We know that. What, you have to send some more money? Or lawyers are expensive? So he did. And one excuse after another after another. So they wanted $35,000 more, and he had to get a mortgage on his house. The line of credit was all used up. So he came in to see another lawyer in my office who handles real estate transactions. And I saw him in the waiting room and I said, "What are you doing here?" Known him for a number of years. "I want to talk to you." Pull him into the office. We chatted for a few minutes. And I said to him, "Man, you're stupid. That's not what he wanted to hear." He realized by that time now that he had made a mistake. He was so deep in. And it was very unfortunate. Fortunately for him, I've put a stop to it. The monies that he's paid out is gone. How many of you have received another email from the Nigerian, the oil millionaires? This one here was a Spanish one, and you have the Nigerian scams. My own cousin, who's a doctor, her husband went with the $25,000 that he had to pay up front. But just before he mailed it out, he came in to see me. "Can I get some advice from you?" So while we have the poor immigrants, we also have the rich immigrants who are getting caught. So why am I here today? On the 29th of this month, we have a youth conference. We call it a youth conference because all of you are young. We have a judge, a South Asian judge. She has been sitting on the bench for 22 years. She will be in attendance here. We have a law school professor. She is a law school professor at the University of Toronto. She will be in attendance here. We have a Crown attorney here in Brampton. He is a senior Crown attorney with the Director of Public Prosecutions. He prosecutes tax cases, drug cases, and custom breaches from the airport. He'll be in attendance here. We have another lawyer who practices U.S. immigration law. When many of you would go to the border and get stopped because you have had some indiscretion in the past, he will be in attendance here. While this is for the adults, it is more so for the young people. Every year, we have thousands of our kids who are sent overseas, in England, in Australia, in the United States to study law, because they cannot get into the law schools here. It is tough. What happens? Parents pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to send their children overseas. They go there, they pass, they don't do very well because it's party time, no supervision. The children comes back here and they're complete loss because they cannot get back into the system here. What we are hoping to do on the 29th, parents, you'll get a chance to speak to the judge, you'll get a chance to speak to the professor. Children will get a chance to speak to everyone. What we are hoping to do is to use this as a forum where we can educate. As Panditji was doing here today, attempting to educate you when you get that telephone call from CRA, what to do, what we are hoping to do on the 29th. The program starts at 12 o'clock. By 4 o'clock, you'll be out of here. But it's important that these people are taking their time off on a Saturday afternoon. They can be doing hundreds of other things. Myself and Pandit Sharma have been able to convince them to come back and give something to the community. The judge, and all the others are South Asians, the judge said to me, I have not been to a temple in 22 years. What do I wear? I said, what you wore the last time, wear the same thing. She is one of the finest judges in this country. And they want to give back to the community. But we have to come out in numbers on that particular day to show them our appreciation. The young people, it's an opportunity for you to intermingle with these legal minds. These people are bright people, they're from our community. And we should come out and pick their brains. So parents, if you have children, even if they're not interested in law, bring them out. They'll be able to ask questions. What happens when the police stops you? Police stops our young people all the time. The Crown Attorney, the judge, the law professor, they will give you some advice. What happens when you receive the call from CRA? They will give you some advice how to live in this country and live here successfully. We are doing that, but we want to achieve greater successes in this great country that we live in. I beg of you, please come out that day. Bring your children, bring your friends. Panditji will tell you if there's any cost associated with it. But I guarantee you that each and every one of you will benefit from this program on the 29th of March. Thank you. There's no other stories today.
Thank you very much, Damanji, and thank you for reaffirming that program. Our announcements today, I think, should have something to say about that program. Now, today's Preeti Bhojan is sponsored by Manish Patel. Let's give them a big hand, please. Thank you. And remind you that if you're interested in sponsoring Preeti Bhojan, there is a list in the front office, supposed to be on the front wall there somewhere. If it's not there, ask in the office. But it lists all of the dates that are booked up, and if you see a date that's not booked up and you would like to sign up for that, just put your name or speak to someone in the office. If it's already booked, then you can also co-sponsor together with that person. So there's an opportunity for you to do that. Our March break camp starts tomorrow, And everybody knows the time has changed. It is now 12 o'clock or is 1 o'clock? Which one? That changed? It changed, right time. So the time was changed this morning. Thank God that somebody called me to wake me up because I would have forgotten about it. So March break is there, and if you have children between the age of 4 to 12, we are taking them in this program for 1 week. So please check with the front office. The Law Youth Conference that Mr. Kisun just spoke about is scheduled for March 29th, right here. And it starts at 12. There's a $10 registration. And the $10 registration is not, we're not paying any of these people coming here. It's just to take care of some snacks, that you will have something there for 3 hours and to organize. Now, how many of you have an interest in this being there? Put your hands up. 4 people? I guess when you all get the call, you'll be very interested. Right? Now, I'd suggest that all of you have an interest. Every parent should have an interest, and every student should have an interest. Come out and learn. You'll be amazing what you've learned, that when it's necessary for you to know, you'll be thankful that you were there. So I want to see more of you put your hands up and come out and register today. I'm going to ask Sunita. Where are you, Sunita? Stand up, please. You have a job today. This is Sunita. She'll be in the banquet hall. She'll be coming to you to get registrations from you, to get your name and phone number and that type of stuff. She's not going to give it to CRA. It's just for the conference. So please commit yourself to be here and learn something. And remember, all of us only see a judge and a prosecutor when we are in court. At that time, it's very difficult for you to have any kind of a casual discussion with them. If you can have a discussion casual with a judge who's been sitting on the bench, and by the way, some of you may not understand what that means. They're not sitting around, okay? They're sitting on the bench of law. They're dispensing law and justice out to society. And this is a female. Another wonderful opportunity. And 2 of these people in such positions in our society come, and even just to meet them will be a great opportunity. So I hope that we all take advantage of this event coming up. So parents and children, do be there. Navratri will commence, of course, on March 31st. And we will be starting our yajna. This yajna will have a series of Ram Leela presentation every night by some of the youths of our Gurukul class. And we invite you to come to listen to Gyan Yagna, mostly Katha from Ramayana, because immediately after Navratri is what? Bolo? Ram Navami, Ram Janam. And then after Ram Janam, 1 week, what happens? Hanuman Jayanti. So we have lots of activities coming up. Satyanarayan Puja and Katha is on this Saturday. And of course, then it's also the day for Holi. We will be doing burning of Holika Saturday night outside, and we'll be playing with colors. So the festival of spring is here. So things just start to happen. Before you know it, 2014 will be gone. So let us not let it go. This year we made plans for 4 symposiums. This is the first. The second one will be a symposium to promote job opportunities and career planning, giving professionals who are out there in the field an opportunity to come to talk to our people who don't know what they will be doing, or who do know what they're doing but can't get in there. We'll get companies to come out and tell them about how they can get involved in their organizations. Then on the third, we shall have a symposium on violence against women. So that's the 3 that we have in mind, and they will be every quarter. So the next one will be in June sometime, and then sometime in October, and then sometime or September, and then sometime in November. These symposiums are intended to provide us with social infrastructure to understand the world we live in, because that too is Satya Sanatana Dharma, because we are not a religion, we are a way of life. So please spread the word. Bring a friend, bring a neighbor, bring an enemy, bring somebody along with you to Mandir, and also bring someone along to this conference. Now, how many of you have made an attempt, since I have appealed to you, to bring a friend or a family or a brother or sister who doesn't go to the Mandir? Put your hands up. How many of you made an attempt to do that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. How successful were you? Those who were successful, put your hands up, please. No, 1 success. So then the ratio is very low. That's about 10% success. So if 100 of you tried and we get 10% success, then we'll have 10 more people. So we need to, the success rate is very low, but the effort has to be greater. So if there is someone that you know, invite them to come with you to Mandir on Sunday morning. Tell them to come and see what you do and the joy that you get and what value. You share all good things with everybody, don't you? Right? You don't share all good things? You only share good news, right? When there's a sale at shopping mart or something, you share that. Share good news about coming to Mandir. Tell them how joyful, how you feel good about it. Share it and encourage them to come. Tell them that we also provide a good meal. That's also a good incentive, right? And Ram Mandir meal is very outstanding, so that's good. Prem Sa Sitapati Ramachandra Bhagavan ki. Did I miss anything? We had a very successful stage performance last night. The young people of our Mandir were outstanding not only on the stage, but in their organizing ability. They have taken the lead. We are in the transition period. They are taking over. Not because they want to take over, because we are offering to them transition so they can grow and we old people can not be gotten rid of, but we can move into much more meaningful activities of planning and organizing and visioning while they do a lot of planning and organizing and visioning at that level. So let's give our young people a big hand, please. So those of you who brought prasad, please come forward. We shall offer bhog.